What's up, guys? Welcome to Retro Gaming Guy Live, and I have Tim Malcolm here with me. Tim's been on 90 Day Fiance from TLC, 90 Day The Single Life. So welcome, Tim. Thank you so much for taking the time to join me tonight.
Oh, thanks, man. Appreciate you having me.
For sure. And he's got an amazing channel, too. Covers a wide range of things. And in fact, I got to mention this. I'm a huge old school wrestling fan, and I've been following your channel for a while now, but the last week or so I've been super busy. And today I jumped on your channel and I saw that you had Buff Bagwell on there, and I just totally binge watched that. And it was a phenomenal interview. So I know a lot of guys out here are wrestling fans. Got to check out his latest interview with Buff.
Yeah, I'm a big wrestling fan. That's part one of the interview. So like part two,
really?
I'll post next
sweet.
week. Yeah.
Nice,
This
nice.
covers. I told him, I was like, bro, everybody's covered your wrestling career. So the part one, we kind of went through wrestling. Part two is more about. I don't know if you remember, he was on a reality show called Gigolos, where he was like a male escort.
I did. Yep. I've read a lot about him too, because he's obviously been in the news and stuff, but he's really turned himself around too with DDP. So yeah, I've been following his story pretty closely, and I always thought he was an underrated wrestler too. I mean, physique alone. I mean, he was incredible back in the '90s, even in all throughout the 2000s, and he looks pretty damn jacked in the video there too. So good to see that he's getting better and doing better health wise.
Are you a wrestling fan?
I am. I don't keep up with it as much these days, so I don't tune in, every week. But I try to keep up with like the highlights and all that stuff. I watched WrestleMania, but old school wrestling's my thing. Like 80s, 90s.
How'd you feel about WrestleMania 40? I actually watched it, which I normally don't for the last 15 years. But I mean, I'll watch clips of it. But what did you think about the last one, the first one that Vince didn't do?
I thought it was good. I actually really enjoyed it. I'm a big Cody fan, so I was happy to see him, finish the story, as everybody's saying, and get his belt. So I was happy to see that. I didn't think that. I mean, it's cool to see The Rock come back, but for me, honestly, it didn't make the slightest difference. It's cool to see guys come back like that, and he's still good. He didn't miss a beat. But what'd you think?
I like it, and I'm really excited that it's moving to Netflix. I'm really hoping that means we're going to go past the PG era. And, I'm not expecting another Attitude Era, but I would like to see it go to, like, more adult-oriented content. That's kind of why I've stopped watching it. It's just, like, I don't know, like, after, like, John Cena, I think, is, like, they designed it to where there wasn't, like, it was, like, The Rock and Stone Cold and, like, The Undertaker. Like, they kind of made it to where they want everybody to be a superstar.
Right,
and it's like kind of generic. Everybody does the same moves, and like everything was very scripted. So, promos used to be really good, really funny. In fact, if you go back and watch like the original NWO stuff, it's still funny. Like it holds up. Raw was moving to Netflix in January.
Yep. And all the back catalog too, right? All the pay-per-views, is that going to stay on Peacock? I think it's going to Netflix too.
I'm not sure because they've said Raw. They haven't said anything about SmackDown or all the pay-per-views. I know Netflix paid out the ass to get Raw, but it'll be interesting to see what they do. But I remember Cody, like his first time appearing, on wrestling, and like to see him come this far, it's been pretty amazing.
Yeah. When he went to the indies and, restarted everything, I was taking my stepson at the time to like indie shows. So it was cool to see him, wrestling all these up and coming guys. Like Warbeard Hansen was there wrestling him, Bobby Fish, all these guys that now have gone on to, become part of either WWE or AEW. So yeah, it was cool to see him restart his career. I saw him wrestle Kurt Angle on the indies a couple of times. So yeah. Definitely been rooting for him. There's our buddy Hecken Steve there. What's going on, Steve?
Oh, what's up, Steve? I told him, I was like, Steve, drop in because I don't know any of these people.
It's all good people in here.
I think he's got a podcast he does tonight about wrestling or something.
I saw he posted. He wasn't sure if he was going to keep posting it put it on his main channel or a different channel. So, yeah, Steve, I think you should put it on the main channel. What's going on?
Yeah, if you guys haven't watched Steve, man, he roasts. I don't even know how to verbalize it. He roasts like video game resellers. And actually, I did a couple of videos with him where we just absolutely blasted a couple of really kind of slimy dudes that were taking advantage of people. But it's really good entertainment. You guys should check it out.
That's actually how I discovered your YouTube channel. So I've actually watched 90 Day Fiance. It's my wife's influence, but I've kind of taken over the reins with it, and now I'm like dialed in more than she is. So, but yeah, Heck and Steve had you on his channel, and that's how I got exposed to your channel. And yeah, the rest is history here. So shout out to Heck and Steve, and he's been on here before as well. Actually, I think he was my first live stream guest. So
Oh, cool. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Yeah, he lives like 30 minutes from me. So when I saw he was in North Carolina, I actually was like, "Yo, bro, I'm a big fan of your show. I was like, I want to come on your show and roast people." So because like the main show that I'm on, there's like 15 shows in the 90 Day Fiance umbrella
I
now.
know
Or
there's all the
universe.
like the sub
So
shows
many.
or what.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
And the main show that I'm on that kind of like where I made a name for myself is Pillow Talk, and it's the only comedy of the entire franchise. And basically, we're just watching the other shows and making fun of all the cast members. So it's like kind of my thing to do, you know?
for sure, for sure. No, I think that definitely shows off your skill set because your commentary is on point always, and
Oh, thank you, man. Yeah. 15
that's what
hour
I.
days, no script. That's all off the brain. It's
Wow,
people are always like, man, you get paid to watch TV. And I'm like, bro, it's a lot more difficult than that.
for sure. I can only imagine. And it's Heck and Steve's birthday, so happy birthday, Steve.
Oh shit. Happy
That's
birthday,
awesome.
Steve. I don't even
That's
know how old
awesome.
he is.
I think he and I are the same age, so 33, 34, somewhere in there.
All right. Well, I just felt a little bit older, but anyway,
Sorry,
happy
sorry,
birthday.
sorry.
We're good. We're good.
So you recently stopped filming, right? You were just filming season finale, or were you filming something new for
Now
TLC?
we finished the well, this tell-all was a 5-part tell-all, which is the first time in 98 history. So if you don't watch 98 Fiance, 98 Fiance was the original show, which is now on like season 10, I think. And I came along 5 years ago on a show called Before the 90 Days, and did that, and then I moved around. So I've been on literally like 10 different ones, but Single Life season 4 was my most recent one. It streams on HBO Max. And yeah, the last episode of that season was, I don't watch the show, so I think it's on Sunday nights or Monday nights.
Okay,
But now I'm moving back to a different show, so which I don't think they've announced yet, so I can't say it. But
I gotcha.
all my shows are on HBO Max. If you want to check any of them out, it's usually mostly women. I think my demographics on Instagram is like 92% women. But
It's a
guys
good
like
demographic
yourself,
to have.
yeah, well, I mean, you would say that, but I get a lot of guys that are like, "Hey, my girlfriend or my wife got me into
Yeah, yeah,
watching it." So
yeah,
I'm glad that I feel like I'm able to make it a little bit more bearable, because I kind of am the only person that kind of brings like a more super bad, like very
yeah,
dry sense of
for
humor.
sure.
You know what I mean?
Agreed. Well, you got Steve and I as fans, and it was funny. He mentioned that he was doing a video with you. I think when you guys started filming that, and he was like, "I don't know if you've watched this show," and I was like, "Actually, yes, I'm a closet fan of that show." And he was like, "Oh, me too." I wasn't gonna like commit to it. So you probably have more of a male demographic than you probably know about because we don't want to come out of the closet that we actually watch the show. So it could be one of those
Yeah.
situations, but yeah, I mean, my wife got me into it, and I'm definitely more into it than she is because I'll be honest, I'm all for drama, and if there's a shit show, I'm down to watch it. So there's a lot of drama going on in these shows. So
Well, I think the reason that the show has been so successful, the show was passed on by every network actually when
really,
Sharp Entertainment had put together a pilot a decade ago and was shopping it around. Everybody passed on it, and TLC, the executive at the time was a guy named Howard Lee, who like this guy's been in TV since he was working on Sesame Street in the 80s. Um, he decided to run with it, and what he saw was that it takes you on a ride of seeing all these different countries and their cultures, and then like the drama of like these guys flying across country to go meet some uh, romantic partner that they've been talking to online, and all the cluster fuck shit that goes wrong with that.
sure,
And then it follows because you've got Before the 90 Days to 90 Day Fiance, which is 90 Day Fiance is like you've got 3 months with a K1 visa when you bring somebody here from another country to get married. And if not, they have to go back home. So after that, you go to, if you get married, you go to Happily Ever After. And then we've got another one called The Other Way, which is when the American is moving to another country. So there's a travel element, a culture element, a drama element, a relationship. There's a lot of genres that are kind of
right,
covered by these shows. And I think that's why it's been so successful.
sure, absolutely. Yeah, and it's people from all different walks of life, which I think is awesome to have something that is that sort of melting pot of different, like you said, different cultures and all of that. So yeah, there's definitely something for everybody in there for sure. So now you've been on for when did you start with them? 2015 or so, 16?
Yeah, about 5 years ago.
Okay, all right,
Yeah, I did before the 90 Days season 3 was my first appearance.
gotcha.
And after that, I went to Pillow Talk.
Mm,
And I couldn't even tell you. They complicate the way Pillow Talk is logged, but I just did my 225th episode with now it's Warner Brothers because Warner Brothers and TLC merged. But so yeah, I've been around for a while, and
for
my
sure.
15 minutes of fame is, like I've been very fortunate. A lot of
Yeah,
people don't get that, but and I've done some other stuff. Like I had a little part in a movie, and like I just filmed a commercial for a company. I mean, nothing big. Like so, it's
yeah,
really
yeah.
hard from reality TV to transition to scripted. It's really hard because like people just
Mm,
know you as like who
right,
you are on the show.
that
And it
makes
doesn't get
sense.
much bigger than 90 Day Fiance. It's funny you were mentioning Game of Thrones before we went live. When Warner Brothers and TLC merged at the investor conference, they had a poster of Game of Thrones and a
Oh, I think we lost your audio there. Can I hear you? I'm not hearing audio. You guys getting any audio on your end? Maybe it's just me. All right. I think I'm still here, but I'll let him work on that. So let me jump into the live stream comments here. But how's everybody doing? I might have to, you might have to go back out and then come back in. I can let you back in. Let's see. It says you're muted, so in the corner you might have like a little.
oh, can you hear me
There,
now?
there we go. Perfect.
I have no idea how that happened.
It's all good.
Uh,
All good.
but anyway, yeah, I don't even remember what I was saying. But 90 Day Fiance is in over 200 countries now, so it's like, I
Wow,
get people writing
massive.
me from all over the place in languages I don't understand, and and it
Hey,
seems to be like a universal show that people watch.
yeah.
So I mean, it's pretty
Hey,
cool.
these are good. These are good things to have happening for sure.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
what do you do outside of? Because I'm sure everybody's wondering how come you're here with Retro Gaming Guy, and it's because you're actually a gamer, right? And you're also a game collector. And I learned about that a little bit just talking to you. We've been exchanging emails for a little while now.
Yeah,
So, what are you into? What games do you play? Have you been playing a long time? Give me a little backstory on all of
yeah.
that.
I've been playing like my grandparents got me an NES, like probably in '88 or '89 when it came out. I think I was in third grade. And if those of y'all that don't want to do the math, I'm turning 44 in June, so I'm old. But
Gotcha.
yeah, I got the NES, the one that just came with Mario, like before the Mario
Okay.
Duck
Old
Hunt or the
school.
one
Yep.
with track and field. Yeah, it was just Mario, but they got
Yep.
me Pro Wrestling and Double Dragon. That was like the only three games I had for a year. But my grandparents owned a pawn shop, so like after school, my mom would keep me there, and like I was learning like how to buy and sell and trade and shit. So one of the first jobs I ever got when I was like 13, my across the street neighbor ran a bunch of flea market tables, and he would take me out there, and I kind of learned like how to hustle or whatever. But
There you
I
go.
have consistently gamed since the NES. I mean, I even played Call of Duty Zombies esports for a year. So I
Okay.
competed out in
Yep.
Vegas for that. There's video
Oh wow.
online.
Oh
You can
wow.
see. I mean, I didn't do super well. I think I came in like 11th out of 21. But I had the first time I got COVID was when I went to Vegas to play esports. I was like really, really sick and couldn't figure out why because I had never had it.
Is that before they really knew what it was? Because it
Well,
had been here longer than they say it had been here.
yeah,
Uh,
I mean, it definitely like we already knew what it was and shit, but I was fine until I got on the plane, and from Charlotte to Vegas is like a 4.5 hour flight, and
yeah.
I
Yep.
just felt like death, like the worst I had ever
Yeah.
felt. And I got to the hotel and stuff, and we weren't having to play until the next day, but everybody was there. Like if you're into that, the biggest YouTubers were there, and
Sure.
stuff. So, I was kind of there, and people are like, why is this guy here? Because I'm not Call of Duty Zombies YouTuber.
Right. Right.
But
Makes sense.
I did all right. I enjoyed it. But Now I'm really into VR. Like I play a lot of VR stuff, and now I used to always make fun of PC gamers, but now I play everything on PC with an Xbox controller.
Yeah.
So
I'm the same way actually. I never PC gamed until I think pretty much until I got started here on YouTube. Now emulation and stuff is pretty much the main part of what I do on here. But yeah, I'm the same way. I was always a console guy, and then switched over and realized that you can have this amazing experience, but you can do so much more. Going that route. I think it's not as
yeah,
limited. So that's cool to have that more inclusive experience, I suppose. But VR is pretty cool. I was actually in Vegas for CES, and they have a lot of new VR stuff coming out that I think is just like the next level. And I've seen some other stuff through YouTube as well that's in development, not available for consumers yet, but definitely think we're in for some major advancements in that department. I think we lost him. I'm sure he'll be right back. So how's everybody doing out here? There we go. There you go.
I was trying to figure out, is there a way that I can see the comments on this
Uh,
page?
you should be able to. Yeah, it should be on the side.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I had it on private chat, so comments. All right. Yeah, I just want to make.
Gotcha.
I like trying to read comments. Just
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like that's
Yeah,
the whole point of live, right? Is to like
yeah,
you know,
absolutely,
get to know
absolutely,
people. So Derek and Victor and Rick and Brian, Mike, Victor, Perfect Storm. Thank you all for joining. Whether you know who I am or not, I appreciate you guys being here.
for sure, for sure. And so on your channel, you've done a lot of crypto stuff I've seen in the past, and now I spoke on the Buff Bagwell, um, interview that you just did, which is phenomenal. If for anybody that is a wrestling fan, I know there's a bunch of people that just joined from when we started, and I mentioned this. Check out his channel because he just did part one of an interview with Buff Bagwell. That is phenomenal, and you're touching on topics and just aspects of his career, his life that I haven't seen anybody else, touch on. So I really think that it is a phenomenal interview. So, in
Well, thank
addition
you.
to that, though, what else do you do on your channel besides? It seems like you do a little bit of everything, which I love, and I love
Yeah.
that you're not, sectioned off into just one niche.
So I had a game stream channel during COVID, and actually, hey Amy, I see a couple people popping in that used to during COVID. Like we were all at home, so I was going live just about every night, sometimes 4, 5, 6 hours, and we were doing Jackbox games and playing. I
Sweet.
was hosting. Um, and then I woke up one day, and like I was telling you, my whole channel was just demonetized, and I never could figure out why. I couldn't get it fixed, and I had like 15,000 subs at the time, and I just scrapped the entire channel and started over. So I
Wow.
decided I was going to do crypto. The issue is like I've got like a 500,000 followers on Instagram and another 50,000 with Facebook and 50,000 with TikTok, and getting people from those socials to YouTube is
It's
really
tough.
hard. It's
Yeah.
fucking hard. So I've done crypto for the last like 2 years, but actually when the crypto market died from this last bull market, I
Hmm.
just stopped making content, and Google sent me an email saying like your channel's been inactive, so they demonetized this one, but I know why. It's not like
Yeah, there's no
something
mystery.
happened, so I know how to fix
Right.
it.
For
So
sure.
now I'm just doing kind of a little bit of everything. Like I've done interviews and I've got some more interviews lined up. I did Benzino, who's a
Hmm.
rapper, and he's
Yep.
the guy Eminem's always beefing with, and just did the Buff Bagwell one. I've got a couple more lined up over the next month, and then I do some instructional, like financial type videos. I do gaming stuff. I'm about to start doing a weekly live stream. I got another weekly thing that I'm going to do with a friend of mine where we're going to talk about movies and shit. I mean, you're right. It really is kind of all over the place. So I'm just
I
trying
love
out
that
different
though.
stuff.
Yeah. I love that because so many people, and I get pushback sometimes with my stuff, not so much on long form. I'm pretty dialed in with what I cover here on long form, but with shorts, I'll do a little bit of everything because I look at my channel as a direct extension of myself. So sometimes I'll get comments like you're a gaming channel. Don't forget what you're supposed to be doing. And like I'll do whatever the fuck I want on YouTube. So I'm just big on anybody doing that, and you do whatever interests you. And I think that's the best way to be authentic on here.
People love
So
to tell you what to do with
oh
your
yeah,
channel, don't
yeah,
they? Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I know.
So
I get complaints too. Like a lot of people are complaining right now. Like anytime I post something that's not crypto.
sure.
But the thing is like there's still a lot of people that aren't really interested in crypto or think it's a scam, or whatever. So
Yeah.
like I wanted to do something that like this, like just talking to people about different subjects.
Yeah. For
I'm pretty
sure.
versatile with conversation. I mean, like since I'm a collector of all kinds of shit, and I bought and sold shit my entire life, I know about a lot of dumb shit that I can talk about. So, and I enjoy
Yeah.
it. Like me and you can have I could talk to you for hours just about wrestling,
Yeah. Yeah.
and like wrestlers I've met and experiences and whatever. But
For sure.
whatever the subject is. So at some point, I'll zone it in and try to keep it in some
Yeah.
sort of format, whether that's a podcast or whether it's
Yeah. For sure.
because the
But
thing with interviewing people, and just from dealing with me, like people in entertainment, their schedules change so much. It's really hard, especially if you're not a big channel, to get people to commit or to
yeah,
work around
for
their
sure.
schedule. So that's really hard. So I kind of want to find something I can do where every once in a while it's an interview, but then I can do it if I don't have anybody.
For sure. Yeah, that's kind of what I've adopted here because I wanted to do it weekly, but like this week I have two different people because that's just how it worked out schedule wise. But yeah, it's tough because my schedule fluctuates a lot myself. I have three kids, so I'm always doing different things and have different commitments, but so does everybody else. So it is tough to bring in, different people when you want to collaborate. But to just kind of throw it up here and there, if you can get the people interested, they come back. I mean, this isn't my typical night, and we're doing just fine here. And I get a lot more views after it goes off too because I have a weird demographic where I have a big audience in Australia, big in the UK too. So the time zone difference obviously factors in as well. So
Where are you
yeah,
at
I
again?
mean Connecticut. So I'm
Oh, okay.
same time zone as you, but
Well, shit, you're
uh,
right in WWE Central, man.
yeah, I'm about 45 minutes from headquarters. Although headquarters just moved down, they're a couple miles further south now. They just switched over. I think they still have the original Titan Tower, where Vince was, but yeah, they've been moving over to this massive new spot. So
Yeah, the thing is too, like when you're on TV with a major studio, I mean that they let me do content, but like for example, everybody always tells me, "Oh, you should do basically like the same thing you do for 98 Fiance, but do some other shows." But like that starts getting into a very gray area with my NDA.
sure,
So I have to be careful with the content I create because like
that
I
makes
don't want to
sense.
get fired or
Yeah,
sued.
of
So
course, of course.
TV is a game changer, man. Like they own you while you're under contract, and you kind of have to ask them like everything. So
Right,
finding things that I can do that don't get a call from my I call them my babysitter, but when you're on TV, you have
right,
what's called a handler, and if you see them call you, it's usually something that you did that they don't
right,
like,
right.
a
Makes
post you
sense.
made or some shit. So, but oh, by the way, guys, I'll give you a high five if anyone can tell me what movie this backdrop is from. And I saw somebody said hello. Sorry, guys, I'm trying to read too, but I saw someone say hello, so hello back.
For sure. I always have trouble with the live chat myself because I always get behind on it first off if I'm interacting because I'm a slow reader. Then when I obviously take the time to engage with people, it takes up time. But I also have my lighting kind of blocking it too, so it's always a challenge to be on
So
all
what you
different
got behind
ends.
you? Is that pinball? Like is that
So
a
I've got yeah, I actually just I for the last like 6 months I was talking about how I was going to bring my virtual pinball machine. So it's a virtual one, so it's not mechanical. It's actually a screen on the bottom,
gotcha?
but it's got 906 different tables on it. So it's cool. I can switch it up for different videos. And then I've got actually everything's kind of dimly put together back there right now. But I have an Indiana Jones arcade cabinet directly behind me, and then I'm currently modding what was a Mortal Kombat 2, and that's going to become WrestleMania. So I just put a LED marquee up on that, so that's lit up. But
Nice. I used to have like three like full size arcade cabinets, and when they started breaking and giving me problems, I sold all
yeah,
of them. So, I don't
they're
have
tough
any,
to
but when I get a bigger house, like I've got so much shit that I can't even display right now.
sure.
I'd like to have some more.
Yeah, yeah. I recently, this used to be an unfinished basement. Now I've kind of created a studio out of it. So once I had a finished space, I wanted to bring everything in here, and I always wanted arcade cabinets. I don't play them as much as I would like to, but my kids really enjoy them. So um,
Bone Chief got it right. Yeah, it is Big Trouble in Little China. So virtual high five, Bone Chief.
there we go.
It's one of
Perfect.
my
And so
favorites.
So you're a collector too of more than just gaming stuff, right? You've been
Yeah,
collecting a
I
wide
collect all
range.
kind of shit. So I collect
Nice.
movie stuff. Uh, I call them dolls, but like the sideshows, like they're like $500 dolls.
Okay.
But yeah, I've got Pokemon cards, comic books, records, cassette tapes, VHS tapes, movie posters,
Wow.
anything cool. Like, I mean, I like
Yeah.
conversation because I collect art. You know,
Nice.
it's just in my blood, I guess. Like, I always have to be collecting something. Even since I was a kid, I was always collecting something. So right now, I'm on a big cassette tape and VHS kick. Like, I'm buying like a lot of early rap, early hip hop, especially if I can
Okay.
find it sealed.
Nice.
Um, you know, but I mean, if you name something, I probably collected it at one point or have a small collection of it now. So, and
Nice.
I
Nice.
feel like the guys like you and I, like we always collect something.
Yeah. For me, it's not stuff that's like high value either. It's just like whatever. Like I'm an old school wrestling fan. So anytime if I see something that has Ric Flair on it or Macho Man, I have to buy it. It doesn't matter if it's worth, 2 pennies or it's worth, $500. So
I'll show you. I met Ric Flair at his last match and got this 3D scan.
that's
Uh,
awesome.
they put you in a booth with him, and like
Is
this
it
thing goes
it
around
goes
you.
around?
Yeah,
I've
and they
seen
3D
those.
print it. So yeah, that's my. I'm from Charlotte, which is like Ric Flair
Yeah, for sure.
country. But
That's
yeah,
awesome.
I'm a Ric Flair fan, but I've met him a couple of times, and I'll be honest, the last time I met him, he was a real asshole. I think he was half
Really?
drunk, but yeah, it was kind of
Well, that sounds
disappointing.
like Ric Flair.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I actually met him with Chris Benoit, and Arn Anderson and Dean Malenko when I was like 17 or 18. I have a picture of me
Wow.
drinking beer with Ric Flair when I was like 17. So, he's
Your
been
handler's
around.
going to give you a call after this.
Nah, I mean, like, bro, I mean, that was so long ago, but I
I'm
mean,
kidding.
really, he would be the one in trouble, not me. I mean,
That's a
so,
good point.
but
That's a
yeah,
good point.
he's a wild dude, man. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's unfortunate sometimes when you see, but for Ric Flair, I think it's a little bit different because that's his MO. That's what he's known for. Being the party guy. Even, I mean, he's got to be pushing what, late 70s now, mid 70s. So
Bro, it's amazing. He's still alive.
yeah, I watched him on Theo Von's podcast, and it's a wild interview. If you haven't seen that, check out Theo Von and Ric Flair. It's entertaining to say the
Later,
least.
Steve. Yeah, I'll
Take
check it
care,
out.
man.
Ric Flair had a podcast, and then he just
He did. I
stopped.
used to I used to listen to it. I don't know if he had issues with who was producing it or what the deal was, but like one day it just disappeared.
Well, Conrad Thompson is his son-in-law.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Conrad hosts with Bischoff, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Oh no, he's got like 10 podcasts now. He's got
Right, right.
the Kurt
He's
Angle, Jeff Jarrett,
yeah.
Arn Anderson, Tony Schiavone. But yeah, what I heard was that Ric Flair was up for. You remember they did that like documentary recently? Like I say recently, probably 6 months ago. He was up for an Emmy or something for that, and he wanted to try to clean up his image so that he would get nominated for it. And he stopped the podcast at that point, and now just hasn't
Oh, okay.
returned.
Oh, I'm talking
So
about his old podcast because he had one like maybe 10 years ago,
on
and
the
like
radio,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, in Atlanta, yeah, I remember that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
was Conrad that did that as well.
I think so. Yeah, yeah. He
Yeah,
was like the co-host then, and I think it was before he was married to his daughter. So, yeah,
yeah,
I'm going back a ways now. It might even be more than 10 years ago. But yeah, I've always been a Ric Flair fan, and
man, I listen to all of them. I listen to 83 Weeks every Monday,
83
or
weeks. Yep.
Kevin Nash's podcast.
I'm a big fan of Kevin Nash's actually because I don't know. There's something about him, even though I think sometimes he needs to. Yeah, obviously, he's had a lot go on in his life, but he can be pretty miserable on there too. But it's a nice take sometimes to hear him just not, saying the nicest of things. So, yeah, I definitely enjoy
Yeah,
his podcast too. But yeah, he's moody sometimes for sure. Have you met Kevin Nash?
I have. Yeah, I actually met him with Buff
Oh, okay,
years
nice.
ago, and he was a dick. In fact, me and Buff talked
Okay,
about it. I
so
don't know if it was in part one, but it'll be in part two.
okay,
Um, I was the biggest Kevin Nash and Scott Hall fan, man. Like me and my brother both when they were the Outsiders, when the old like NWO thing kicked off, and man, what a
yeah.
disappointment. I've heard that since his son died, he's been a little bit more humble with fans because I think so many people reached out to him.
Yeah.
And that's just like horrific, I don't wish that on anybody. But yeah, that it's like they say, don't meet your heroes, and I've had some really good experience with wrestlers, and I've had some that, I just left really disappointed.
Yeah.
So,
It's unfortunate when that happens, but I'm sure it makes you think about that when, because people must approach you. I mean, you're on all these different
oh
shows,
God, yeah, I can't leave
especially
my
down in
house.
Charlotte.
Yeah, yeah, I can't leave my
Yeah.
house. But it's like I always said, now that I've been on TV, I get it. And like, you know, anybody, no matter how high they are on the totem pole, like when you get even to like Will Smith or Leonardo DiCaprio, so like A-list, everybody has a bad fucking day, and
Yeah.
you get approached, and
For sure.
I always try to remember that. But I definitely think there's been a couple of times where I probably wasn't the most chatty.
Sure.
I've never turned a picture down, or anything like that, but I definitely
Yeah.
have rushed it. Even when we were wearing the mask, like people recognize me from my voice. And
Hmm.
so I would get people, I've had some weird things
I
happen
can
with fans,
imagine.
but
I can imagine.
it's part of the gig. They're the ones that are
Yeah,
supporting you, and the reason why Warner Brothers keeps calling you to be back on. If people like you, so
for
without the
sure.
fans, you're not getting back on.
Makes sense. Well, I think it's also different if you're approached, out there when you're just trying to go about your day versus if you're at a signing and you're there to meet people. I mean,
Oh
you
yeah,
should bring your A game for that, I think. Cuz I
for
mean,
sure.
they're not charging just a couple bucks in some cases. I mean, I've been to indie shows where, former WWE people are there. I mean, they're charging some money sometimes.
Yeah, it's gotten
Especially at
really
conventions
ridiculous. Yeah.
too. Yeah.
It's funny.
So,
Me and Buff had a whole conversation about how the
I
conventions have
heard that.
changed.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, because like what happened was that a lot of people were going up to the tables and just asking for the free photo on their phone.
Mhm.
And then like the next year, I remember I went to a convention in Charlotte, and everybody was charging for pictures and for autographs, or they did like a bundle deal. But now they're doing these like professional photo ops that you can't take a photo at the table, and you got to buy this super expensive photo op. So yeah, if you really want to have a good time at a convention, you better drop like $1,000, $2,000, man. It adds up
Wow.
quick.
Wow.
So yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate because I think a lot of people don't have that kind of money to spend. But you never know. Like I was at a convention and Kevin Spacey was there, and he's been
Oh,
cleared
wow.
finally of all his allegations. I'm a huge
Oh,
Kevin
has he?
Spacey
That's
fan.
yeah.
Yeah, and he was in a separate room, but it was like $350 to get your photo
Wow.
taken with him. So
Yeah,
I didn't do it, but
that's
it's like
pricey
when the fuck else are you ever gonna get the opportunity? I mean, if you don't live in Hollywood, like you don't run into these people.
for sure.
So
And Derek had a good point there for sure. It's never bothered a celebrity in public. It was funny. I was down in actually in your neck of the woods for Sting's last match, and I came into the airport. I flew in sitting right behind Taz from now he's in AEW,
yeah,
and when I went to leave, the show ended at like 12:30. After midnight, and I had a flight at 4:30 going out of Greensboro. So I went in and I went through security with Samoa Joe, and we kind of just interacted as people next to each other going through security. But then I went to my gate and I was getting coffee at Starbucks. I ordered my coffee. I went to the next little window to pick up my coffee, and I ended up bumping into Steve Borden, Sting. And I was just very rarely am I like starstruck, but I didn't even want to like approach him, and like was down there for his last match. So I can relate to Derek's comment there, where you don't want to approach people in public. You want to respect their space and all of that. But
well, I think a good rule
um,
of thumb, like like the famous people I know, like we all kind of agree of like if I'm eating, like don't like
yeah,
that.
yeah,
It
that makes
also
sense.
if you're on an airplane with like someone and they have headphones in, like I put my headphones in when I don't want to be approached. So
Makes sense.
like
Yep.
I'll have people literally stand beside me, and you can kind of hear like because if you're not blaring your music or whatever,
Yeah.
and like they will be relentless with
Sure.
it. But that's like two good rules of thumb. Otherwise, like most, unless they're really big stars that are like super egotistical, they don't mind.
Yeah.
As long as you understand, like you're taking a quick photo, like have your phone ready. Like I've had people be like, "Oh my god, my phone's in my car. Will you wait?" Like in Home Depot,
Yeah. No.
like,
No.
and then they want me to wait there for 5 minutes while I'm just trying to like grab some nails and get back to my house or something. So
Yeah.
like if
For
you have
sure.
your phone ready and you're not you understand what it is. Like, you're gonna get a picture, you're gonna say, "Hey, I'm a big fan," and that's it. Like, don't try to commit them to a 5 or 10 minute conversation.
Right.
And
Keep it moving.
usually, unless they're an asshole, people will be cool about that.
Yeah, that makes sense. Makes sense for sure. So I do want to mention to everybody in the live stream, we do have a giveaway tonight. So I want to make sure you guys see at the top. I think it's pinned up there, but I'm
I'll be
on.
right back. I'm gonna grab a drink while you're talking about that.
Yep, absolutely. So I'm up. I'm on StreamYard here. So if you guys look at the top, you should see the pinned link up there. So I'm giving away, a couple days ago, I did a video on a Dell Optiplex 7050 micro PC that I converted over basically to a retro game console. So I'm giving that away in this live stream. It's loaded with tons of games ready to go. So enter to win that. I'll be doing the drawing at like 9:15 or so. So you have a little bit of time left on there.
Well, actually, let
But
me see. I might can do a giveaway this live too. I'm like, I think 100 away from hitting 20,000 subscribers. And if
nice.
I hit it on this live, I will give something away too. Let me see exactly what the count is.
So
I'm
everybody
at
jump over to his channel. And I'm
967. Yeah, so like what is
nice.
that? 33 subscribers. If I hit 20, I will, what are your people like? Games?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
Games.
I'm gonna
What do you,
find something to motivate him. Give me 1 second.
all right. All right, guys. Well, jump over to his channel and give him a sub because he's going to partake in a giveaway too on his end, which is always cool. So I'll give you guys the direct link to his channel. I believe it's in the description of this video actually, but I'll go ahead and pull it right up for you guys so you guys don't even have to search it out. All right, so I'm just grabbing that right now. There we go. All right, I'm dropping it into the live chat. So click this link, give him a sub. And again, wrestling fans, check out his interview with Buff Bagwell. I binge watched it today, and he's got a part 2 coming as well. So let's see. So I'm diving into these live chat comments here, and I do want to make sure that I thank Victor and Kevin for, let me see, Kevin, 1 month of membership. So you just got the new Game Boy icon on there, which is pretty cool. Victor gifted 5 Retro Gaming Guy memberships tonight. So thank you so much, Victor, for being super generous. RC from NYC, thank you as always for the support on here. You've been a viewer for a long time now, so I always appreciate that. And you actually won one of the giveaways not too long ago too. So sweet. We've got a woo in there. I love it. Nice, nice. And Paul, what time is it over where you are right now? Because you're in the UK, right? Uh-oh, Cheesecake's in here. I saw Cheesecake actually when I was setting up the stream tonight. I saw you guys were talking about your favorite cheesecakes, so that's good. I don't know if we've bombarded with Mr. Malcolm here with cheesecake talk yet, so I think you guys might have to hit him up with that, find out what he's into. And somebody said creme brulee cheesecake today. Who was that? It was one of the regulars, I think. Carrot cake cheesecake. That could be good if they don't put too much carrot in there, because if you're putting in like the same amount as like a full-on carrot cake, I think that would be too much. There we go.
Okay, I can't find a game, but I got an Elvira Funko Pop. That's the
Nice. That's actually one of my favorite pinball tables, actually. I've got that on this
and
virtual
this
one.
is a limited edition.
Nice. Sweet. Banana cheesecake. So when I had Hecken Steve on here, he mentioned cheesecake in the live stream, and for some reason that's what people gravitated towards. So now every time I do a live stream, everybody's shouting cheesecake in the comments here. So what is your favorite cheesecake, or are you not a cheesecake guy?
So my mother says it best that there's 2 types of people in this world: people that eat to live and people that live to eat. And I am definitely a eat to live kind of guy. I'm not a foodie. I mean, I like
Okay,
cheesecake, but like
that's fair.
I have no favorite. I mean, all cheesecake is pretty good.
That's true. That's true. I can get with that. Are the giveaways only for U.S. residents? No, mine. I've actually had a lot more people international than here in the United States. So yeah, I'll send stuff wherever. Oreo cheesecake. That's an interesting one. I don't know if I've had Oreo cheesecake.
Ooh, that
I feel
sounds good.
like I feel like the majority of that would be like the filling on an Oreo cookie, and I'm game for that. So that would be interesting. Carrot cake for me. Carrot cake cheesecake or just straight up carrot cake, Ailey? And you're in Connecticut too, right? I saw that previously one of your comments. So shout out to another person from Connecticut. We don't get many of those, so I feel like we're one of those states where we just don't get as much love as other places. Burger King sells Oreo cheesecake. All right. Can't say I've had that.
Nah, it's at like 19,986, so we're like 14 away.
14 away. So jump over
Well,
and I gave you
now
guys
now 11, 11.
11. All right. So we need 11 more. And here's the direct link, guys. Click over.
So, what do you do for a job? Is this it? You do YouTube or?
I'm pretty much full time here, but so I'm part owner in an aesthetic center too, which I've never talked about. But we do Botox, Dysport, all that fun stuff. I'm purely on the business side. I'm not medical at all.
I just
So
got
yeah.
some Discord, so I just went
Okay.
and did
All
my.
right.
I get it 3 times a year. Just I have ptosis in my eyes, which is like your eyelids hang low.
Yep.
So
Yep.
they inject what?
Just
How
in
do
the
you pronounce
corners.
that? I thought it was dye support.
Dysport.
Dysport.
Dysport. Yep.
Yeah, I get like 4 injections in right here and in my this lower part of my eyelid, which is super fucking painful.
Yeah.
But it
That's a
works
tough
great.
spot. It does.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's quicker than Botox. So yeah, you guys heard it here first. That's the first time I've ever talked about that. But
Do
yeah,
you
I'm
get
just
it
on the
yourself?
I haven't. I have in the past, but it's been a long time. Been a
It's
long time.
amazing. It's
Yeah, it works. It
amazing what
works
that
great.
shit can do, man.
Nice, Jay. Good. Nice. I love New Haven. We've got the according to Dave Portnoy, the best pizza in the entire world. So check out all the pizza places next time you're down there visiting. I'm about 15 minutes from New Haven, and I don't know. I like New York pizza better, but yeah, we're ranked the highest in terms of best pizza according to Dave Portnoy, the Pizza King. So, do you ever watch him?
Dave Portnoy?
Portnoy, yeah, he has that review. Well, no, you're not a foodie, so
No.
probably not. He does
No.
the one bite. Everybody knows the rules. Perfect Storm Gaming knows what I'm talking about.
What
So
is he a content creator?
yeah, he started, what is he, Barstool Sports. He's like the, I don't know if he's the owner or he's like the creator of Barstool Sports. He's behind like all the, he's involved somehow with like all the Jake Paul fights and all that stuff too. So he's kind of all over. He was in with UFC for a while too.
What do you think about Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson?
Um, I think that I know Mike Tyson is like, I don't know what the betting lines say, who the favorite is, but there's a huge age gap there. So Mike Tyson's still dangerous, but I mean, what's the difference in age? Like 27 years or something? It's
Yeah.
significant.
But I
I don't
mean,
know.
but rather than who do you think is gonna win? I mean, what do you think about it happening?
I don't get it. I mean, I'll be perfectly honest. I don't get the
It's a
whole.
cash grab. I mean, it's
Yeah,
for the
yeah, for
money,
sure.
clearly.
It's
Like, yeah.
and they're friends too. I know that they've been friends for a long time. So it's not one of those like heated storylines or anything like that. I don't think they can even spin it as a heated thing.
Well, they
I,
just
I just don't.
announced it's gonna be free on Netflix.
Oh, it's free. I thought it was gonna be like
Yeah.
a pay-per-view sort of thing.
Nah, they changed it to where, yeah, like Netflix, I guess, is trying to really get some different type of content. Because think about it, like Raw will be the first live show Netflix has ever had.
Oh, they're making big moves. I mean, they're definitely being innovative with everything that they're doing over there. So yeah, for
I think
sure.
Tyson will win it. I really do. I'm not gonna bet on it, but I've seen
Yeah.
like videos of Tyson training, and like I still would not want to get hit by him.
No, no, no. I'm sure he hits like a tank. It's just can he? I mean, I don't know how many rounds. I heard they were only doing like 3.5 rounds or three
Yeah,
rounds or
yeah.
something. So, and then if anybody gets busted open, it's over automatically. So it's not like it's not like UFC where you have to pretty much die in there for it to be stopped. But I don't know. Yeah, I don't get into like the celebrity stuff. I never got into. I watched Jake Paul when he fought Nate Diaz because I like Nate Diaz, but I don't know. I don't really get into it that much, to be perfectly honest. I get what they're doing, and I can't hate Jake Paul like everybody seems to hate the guy. he's doing what he's supposed to do. You know, he's a content creator at the end of the day. He's creating content and he's in, you know, all of our thoughts and in our mouths these days. So he's doing what he's supposed to do. So I can't knock him for that. Same with his brother, who I think is a phenomenal wrestler too. I will give him that.
One of my favorite possessions I own, I've got like a pic, I guess it's a picture, yeah, of Mike Tyson's Punch Out, and it's actually
Yeah.
signed by Mike Tyson.
Oh, nice.
I bought it at a charity auction. Yeah, but I love that, man. Mike Tyson's Punch Out, like I spent way too many hours as a kid playing
Yeah.
that
I mean,
game.
that's a classic game and all the other stuff that I mean, he's been featured in so many games now too that, yeah, I think he's a massive part of gaming history, you know, just, I mean, just with that alone. But
Yeah,
I keep
and he was in
seeing,
WWE. In fact, a lot of people
it's
attribute
true.
to that as what really saved WWE, you know, with
It's
Mike
true.
Tyson being on there. So yeah, he's been around with everything. So
And he's
you've
done
got
stuff with
mostly.
AEW too. So,
Oh, has he?
yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yep.
I don't really
Yeah.
watch a lot of AEW. One of my friends from 90 Fiance, her cousin is Darby Allin. So
Really?
yeah,
Okay.
I took a Zoom meeting with him one time. We were going to do a business together, and then his entertainment lawyer just could not agree on the contract. But
That's interesting.
he's a different type of dude. Yeah, I
I've
guess
met Darby a couple of times, and I would agree with you there. Yeah, he's different. He's different, but I like the guy. I like him a lot, actually.
he's
So
crazy, man. He
yeah,
is like the real deal. Like
yeah. Oh
no,
yeah.
he
I
had
mean,
no
he
fear.
for sure. When I was at Sting's last match, just his spot off of the ladder through the plate glass, like nobody's doing shit like that. I mean, you shouldn't be alive doing something like that. So I'll give him credit. I know he got a lot of heat for it too with former wrestlers that didn't think it was safe, but I mean, he's all in. So
So your fan base here, what do they normally like to hear you talk about? Just like games? What do you
so
guys want to hear us talk about?
so yeah, that's a good question to ask. So what I typically do on here is I'm more of like a tech review guy, I suppose, is where I've kind of when you start on YouTube, I think we all just kind of try a bunch of things and we kind of settle on what we enjoy and what other people enjoy watching. So I do a lot of review videos. That's the main component of what I do, I suppose. Used to do a lot of tutorial stuff with emulation gaming and stuff like that. So I do that still sporadically, but it's mostly review videos.
I
And then I
mean, do you actually
recently
play
started.
games on stream?
I have in the past here and there. I test out like I'll do now live reviews and stuff where I'm doing like the demo side of a review video, but yeah, I don't do like full on traditional streams too much. Every now and then, I suppose, but yeah.
Hey, Charlene, talk about roasting
Is that who
MC
you
Murph.
roasted? Is that who you
So
roasted with Hecken
funny
Steve?
enough, Steve had him on
You just had him
his.
on, yeah.
Yeah, and I had it playing in the background last night. I was trying to get some work done, but I asked Steve, I was like, did he mention our video at all? And Steve said no. So
Hey,
actually that was the first thing I think Steve and I ever recorded together. So like, and we didn't
yeah,
really know each other that well. So, but I thought, we played off each other well, and it was funny. But I was like, holy shit, I couldn't believe that he did a video with him.
yeah. And I think that I think he has seen it because I think he commented when you guys released that video, if I remember correctly. I remember him being like the pinned comment on that video when I watched it.
Ah,
So,
okay. And
so I
who was
think he
the
did
other
see it.
guy?
I
That
forget because you did like two parts, right? So that
Yeah, he's a really big YouTuber, and he's got a really big business. He
was
works.
it Phoenix
Caleb?
Resale, Caleb?
Yes, yes, yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
he
That
had
was
the app. I think you guys were talking about the app
Yeah, yeah, and then he
that
had
he's
him
developing.
on like a month ago
He
or
did.
something. So
Yeah,
yeah, which
that
I
was a
know
big one for him.
Steve caught a lot of flack from that one, but
He did, but
it's,
I think that I think he brought it full circle with that, and I think that some people just get caught up in you know they want to believe that we're all just in his case because he is criticizing a lot of people that he's just diehard out to get people and I think that showed a different side of Steve. I thought it was awesome, so I was a fan of his approach to that whole thing. Because if he just had him on and just ripped him apart, it would have
right.
been what 5 minutes long. You have to go back and forth a little bit and talk it out. So
Yeah, no, I felt bad for him, but it's just like I think people don't understand sometimes. Like, there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff that goes into content creating and psychology that is not as a parent to the audience were like, yeah, you're absolutely right. If he would have gone in as hardcore as like we went in that video, the dude
Yeah.
wouldn't have stuck around long enough to really make a video out of it. So, you know,
Right.
I felt bad for Steve because I talked to him the next day. I could tell it was kind of bothering him. And, you know, you just like I've learned you could be motherfucking Teresa and like somebody will still have a problem with something you say or don't say. You
Yeah.
can't please everybody. You've got to be yourself and hope that the scale weighs where more people like what you're doing than don't, and then you're good.
Right. But at the end of the day, it's people talking about what you created. And, you know, as long as people are talking about it, and that's, you know, what we were just saying about Jake Paul. It's like, so he's not well liked, but he is making a fortune. People are talking about him. He's relevant. So, you know, sometimes you have to rub people the wrong way to do what you're supposed to do on here. And it's to get reactions and stuff. Like,
Well,
you know,
I'll say
not,
this: I don't like Logan Paul. I haven't ever liked Logan Paul. I don't really know
mhm,
that much about Jake Paul to have an opinion, but
mhm,
Logan Paul is a fucking phenomenal wrestler. I got to give it to
yeah,
him. Like
for
for the
sure.
short amount of time he's been, I mean, I was blown away by how good he looks in the ring.
Right. I agree. And he's, like you said, he's only been doing it for a
I
short
think he's
period
had
of time.
11 matches in 2
Yeah.
years.
And I was going to say, he doesn't have, you know, the ring experience in that he's done a million, you know, dark matches. I mean, these guys that are on Raw and SmackDown, they're also doing the matches, you know, between those days, you know, on the house shows that, you know, it helps them stay conditioned to all this. He's not doing that. I mean, I'm sure he's got, you know, state of the art gym that he's keeping busy with, but
Yeah.
yeah, he's not on that same schedule. So I think it's remarkable where he's gone in such a short period of time.
Yeah, the only wrestler on my list, I mean, I guess if you want to count The Rock, I look at The Rock more as a movie star now as a wrestler, but
Yeah, for
I
sure.
really would like to meet The Undertaker.
Well,
And
he seems to be doing more because he stayed out of the
yeah,
spotlight, you know, all
well,
those
he's got a
years.
podcast now on
His
YouTube, and
podcast is very good too. Yeah.
he was sitting like when I was at Ric Flair's last match.
Oh, that's right. He was
Uh,
there in the front.
yeah, he was sitting right across from me with his wife, and I again, like someone else, I didn't want to bother him. Like it was
Yeah.
him, Bret Hart, Mick Foley. I mean, they had like a whole group of wrestlers sitting
Yeah.
with Conrad, and Conrad got me tickets last minute, like they were sold out, and then he was like, "Hey, I have somebody that's not coming. Do you want to come?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." So I wasn't sitting where they were all sitting, but had a good time. It was a really cool promotion, you know, one of the best
Yeah.
like independent shows I've ever seen.
For
And then
sure.
funny enough, I was walking down the street like the next night, because I had never been to Nashville. If you guys haven't been to Nashville, it's a really cool city.
You're not
Um,
terribly far from Nashville either. How far is it?
nah, but to be honest, I've traveled a lot more out of the country than I have
Yeah.
domestically. You know, I've traveled Central and South America like extensively. But is it Bubba Ray Dudley? That's him, right? The one that with the
Bubba Ray
glasses.
Dudley. Yep.
Someone pushed me. I was just like walking down the street, and someone shoved me into the street, and I turned around like, what the fuck? And it was him.
Really?
And yeah, and I had talked to him at the convention like that day. I
Yeah.
walked up to him like when everybody was leaving, I was like, "Hey, I'm a fan," and he knew who I was because I was like, "Hey, can I take a picture?" And I pulled out my wallet, and he was like, "No, don't worry about it." But I guess he was drunk. He was walking out of a bar. But it was like a cool moment for me. I was like, "Oh my god, I got pushed by." Uh, he went by a different name, didn't he?
Bully
Like
Ray in
Bully Ray.
Ring of
Yeah, yeah,
Honor. Yeah.
yeah.
And
That's right.
TNA too. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah,
That's
but
funny. I met Bubba Ray. I live in a small town here in Connecticut, but there's a big theater at the end of our road. And this is about, I want to say it was right before COVID. I went to see Anthrax, was playing like a little club show in the theater. And I went and I ended up literally bumping into Bubba Ray, and he had seats like on the side of the stage, like a pass. And it was so packed in there. He literally was like, "Hey, you want to come?" We started just talking, not as like a fan, just, you know, shooting the shit because I think it
yeah, he's
was
cool as shit.
Killswitch.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Killswitch Engage and Anthrax was the headliner. Actually, I think Anthrax was the opener that night. And we started talking, and it was packed. Like they were pushing in the whole thing is just standing room only. So he was like, "You want to come sit next to us? We got more room over here." And I went behind like the little gate or whatever and sat next to him for the rest of the show. So Yeah, I think Bubba Ray is the coolest guy. Really a down to earth dude. Not what you would expect because he's rough around the edges with his promos and his in ring work too. So
Yeah.
yeah, cool dude for sure. So that's awesome that you
Yeah.
have that experience too with him.
So I see everybody just keeps talking about games. So I mean, as far as retro games, what's your favorite game?
For me, Gauntlet Legends. So that was arcade, and then Dreamcast, N64, and PlayStation One. So have you ever played that?
Oh my god, yeah, I used to love Gauntlet. I mean, if we go by time periods, like I loved Golden Axe and
And
Golden
that's
Axe
very
2.
similar. Yeah, very
And I
similar
used to
game.
actually one of the arcade games I had was Golden Axe. Uh, but my favorite game of all time, if I had to pick one, is probably Perfect Dark.
Perfect Dark's good.
I
That's a good
play
one.
these shit
That's not
out of
one
it.
I haven't played that one extensively though,
So if you
but I've
like
run through it.
the first James Bond that like really set off first person shooters, that's the next game that Rare made.
Hmm.
And it's the same controls as 007 and all of that, but
And I think graphically that was
that was
ahead
the
of its
expansion
time.
pack game. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
the game that you had to
yeah,
buy the expansion pack for, right?
yep, yep. Actually, so tomorrow I have on, and I think you would love this channel if you haven't already checked them out. But it's Yahel from Wrestling with Gaming, and he's like us, a huge old school wrestling fan. But he does these mini documentaries, and one he's done on that exact game right there. He also did like a behind the scenes on GoldenEye for
On Perfect Dark.
N64. Yeah, Perfect Dark.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. So I'll actually pull a link because he's an awesome guy, but he creates these like big production documentaries on YouTube. Like you watch them and they're like, something you would expect to be on, Amazon Prime or on
Yeah.
Netflix. Like just phenomenal.
Yeah,
He just
I'm
did
still
one.
trying to figure that out. Like I see people's YouTube where it looks so good, and I'm terrible with lighting. And a
Uh,
lot of how clean your
that's
video
been,
looks is with lighting and the
yeah, for
space you
sure.
have has a lot to do with it. But yeah, like I that's something I've spent a lot of time watching tutorials on, and I just can't get it right. I invested a lot of money in equipment, and still just
For
I
sure.
cannot get that look.
I've been struggling with that myself. And yeah, I've figured it out a little bit more. My live stream stuff, it's like with live streams, it's tough because YouTube doesn't put it out in like the best quality live. Like it takes a while for it to actually get to better quality on here. So that's tough. But I upgraded my camera actually last week. So I'll put the link in here for you guys
What
because he's
kind
going to
you
be on
get?
tomorrow. I got a Sony and I'm actually using it right now, but it's not in 4K for the live stream. It's a A7 IV.
I got the
And
A64. Yeah,
okay. Yeah,
yeah.
it's
So
it's
I use a Sony camera. I've got a Shure mic.
yep.
I've got good lighting. I don't remember the brand, but I mean, I've got everything that you need. I just can't get it to, get that 4K look because I know exactly what you're talking about. I see it all the time
Yeah.
on people's YouTubes, and I'm just like, wow, that looks good.
Yeah. I
But
had Retro Ralph on a couple weeks back and the whole time I was talking to him, I'm just looking at his setup and I was blown away by it. Just really dialed into like the lighting, the backlighting. He was just 100% on point. So I've picked his brain a little bit. But yeah, I'm also stubborn as hell. So I want to always like figure things out myself as much as I can too. So take a
yeah,
little bit where I can. What's the
so
best
I mean,
WWE game? And I could ask you that too. What is your favorite wrestling game? Because I think that's I've talked about this before. It's funny how many people are gamers but also wrestling fans because they blend together so nicely, especially
right,
with
yeah.
retro gaming.
My favorite one, God, it was probably an N64 one. I think it was called WCW NWO Revenge.
Yeah, that's my all-time favorite. Yep.
Oh, well, there you go. Yeah, that's like
So
my
I'm in
favorite
agreement.
one. But like on the NES, like I said, I had pro wrestling was the first wrestling game that I ever had.
Yeah,
But
that's going back. That was Hogan on the cover, right?
I don't
Oh no,
remember.
pro wrestling I
It
think
was
was just the
generic. It was like generic dudes. Like I
yeah, it
don't
was
think it
just the
was anything like.
pixelated.
But
Yep.
the last WWE game I bought, I think was 2000 or 2001, and man, it's gotten a lot more complicated with like designing your own wrestler and
Yes.
playing the story mode and
Yeah.
shit. And
Yeah.
to be
For
honest with you,
sure.
man, I don't play a lot of games like that anymore. Like I said, I'm more like VR stuff, or me and my friends still get together every once in a while and we'll play like Call of Duty Zombies, or something. But
Yeah,
other than that, I just don't have a ton of time to game.
for sure. No, I'm the same way, and it's funny. I always tell people the majority of what I play is what you see me testing out here, and I do short spurts. I'll do 10, 15 minutes to check out the specs of a PC. So I'm not playing through anything. So I play with my stepson a lot now, and I'll play Fortnite because it's easy to get in and out of. You don't get sucked into it. You could do a 20-minute match and and be done and move on to what you have to do with your day. So yeah, I'm the same way. But yeah, WCW versus NWO Revenge is my all-time favorite. WWF No Mercy is a close second, and I know that's gonna drive Latino Heat over here nuts because that's his all-time favorite game. I think is No Mercy. But yeah, I was a WCW guy growing up. What were you mostly into when you were in your
Oh,
prime time?
WCW. Yeah. I
Okay, all
mean,
right,
I was
so
watching WCW, and then like I remember literally watching live when Scott Hall showed up. I mean, we had if you young people in here won't remember what a descrambler is, but my uncle had a descrambler back in the 90s. So
for the
like it was,
pay-per-views.
yeah, it was an illegal box that you could like buy,
Yep,
and it would get you all the pay-per-views for free. So he would record on a VCR
yep.
the pay-per-views, and we would go to his house and pick them up. But nah, like I watched Bash of the Beach 96 live, and like the NWO thing, because I was a huge Diesel fan. So my
Okay.
brother used to read the dirt sheets, and he had an inclination and told me that there was talk that he was jumping.
Mm-hmm.
So from like 96 to probably 2001, 2002, like I watched. Now, given when Peacock came along and took over WWE, I bought it, and I've gone back and I've watched. For example, I wasn't a big Shawn Michaels or Bret Hart fan like when I was younger. Like they just didn't speak to me.
Sure.
But now as an adult, I
Yeah.
see how good they were in the ring. So like the hot pink spandex really didn't feel cool to me when I was a teenager. But like Bret
Right.
Hart was one of the best workers ever.
For
Like
sure.
WrestleMania 13, him versus Steve Austin is one of my favorite matches. And Shawn Michaels versus Undertaker, the career versus straight. Everybody says 25, but actually the second one I prefer.
Yeah.
Um, so like I've gone back and watched a lot of WWF, WWE stuff now, but back in the day it was all WCW.
Yeah, I'm the same way, and I think that the start of the NWO was just the coolest thing. Like you couldn't have scripted it better. It just made sense. It seemed real at the time too that these guys would come over from WWF and sort of invade WCW. Just the way that they did it was just so seamless, in my opinion. So yeah, definitely loved WCW, but it did get. I think it also did get ridiculous at some point where it
It
was
did,
like,
yeah, for sure.
all right, 3/4 of the roster is NWO, so now we're going to split it between Wolfpack. Like it got crazy at the end.
Yeah, there's
Um,
only like three people they added that I felt like belonged there. Buff was one of them. Scott Steiner was
yeah,
great. I still like
Steiner's
once
good.
every
Yeah,
couple of months spend 2 hours just going back and watching old Scott Steiner interviews. They're so funny, man. Um,
even like his stuff in TNA was good.
yeah,
It
the
was
math
funny. I was just
promo,
sending
like yeah,
yeah, we were talking about Bubba Ray, and I was just watching his him and Scott Steiner. I was sending that to a buddy of mine last night. Um, yeah, they had some amazing promos together. Just two crazy dudes that just came off
so
the
wasn't
screen.
it recently an AEW dude? He redid the Scott Steiner math promo on AEW.
Did he? I don't
Yeah, I
watch
saw a
AEW
clip
too
of.
much. I'll have
I
to look
don't
that up.
either. Yeah.
Yeah.
I watched Orange Cassidy when he was in the Independents. Like I was aware of who he was, and then
Yeah.
when I heard he was signed to AEW, I watched it a little bit, and I obviously watched Sting's last match. And after Bray Wyatt died, that they were in that Wimbledon stadium right after that, and a couple
Yeah.
people did tributes to Bray Wyatt. I tuned in for that.
Yeah.
Uh, Bray
Yeah, I
Wyatt was
say Bray
sad,
is one of the
sad man.
best. Did you watch
Yeah.
the documentary on him?
I did. I just watched it
It's
like
very good.
4 or 5 days ago. Yeah, it was really good. But it's just one of
Yeah.
those things like you ever feel like you don't know someone, but it actually affects you when they pass
Yeah.
away like that. Like I
Yeah,
was affected by Bray Wyatt. Like it bummed
for
me out
sure.
for days.
Yeah. Yeah, and he was one of the best of recent years too. I mean, he was I mean, I don't know. I feel like this generation's Undertaker in a lot of ways. Um, that's a good
That would have been a good
way to look at
match.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. But I agree with you. I think Buff Bagwell and Scott Hall are the two people that I could have seen as world champion that didn't
Yeah.
ever get there, you know.
Scott Hall for sure, but I think maybe with him, and I don't know for sure, but maybe all the stuff that was going on, behind the scenes with him, because he's very publicly struggled with lots of, alcohol and
Yeah, but the same way. But
all
I'm
of
just
that. But
saying, like, take that out of it. Like, they had
hmm
the mic skills, they could
oh yeah,
wrestle, and
for
they had
sure,
the look. You know,
for
they
sure.
had 3 out of 3, which some of the top guys don't have all three. Like Hogan, you know, he's great on the mic and had the body. I didn't ever think he was the best wrestler
Oh no, not at all.
or worker, I guess you want to say. But you
Right,
know, having
absolutely.
all three and never getting a title shot means you fucked up somewhere. So.
This is true. This is true. Yeah,
And both of those guys, if you haven't seen the Vice Dark Side of the Ring on Buff, I was
I
trying
haven't seen it
actually.
yet. I got to watch it.
So they've got it on Amazon. If you don't have Vice, you can buy it, I think, for $2.99. And it was one of the best ones, I think, today. I had no idea that Buff shot his dad, for example, when he was a teenager.
Oh wow, I
Um,
didn't know that either.
there was a lot of shit that you find out in that documentary. If you're a Buff or NWO fan, it is
Yeah.
well worth $3.
Wow. Yeah, I didn't know that. I'm gonna have to check that out tonight because, yeah,
Did
that
you
sounds good.
watch the Al Snow shit on Netflix on
I started
OVW?
it and I lost interest in it, but
Oh
I
man,
watched.
it was really good.
Yeah, I watched the
Yeah.
first episode. For me, it just takes me forever to do anything because I'm so like I put out videos here on YouTube pretty much every day, and they're not short ones either. So I feel like I'm so dialed into what I'm doing that I usually unwind at night watching something, but I usually fall out pretty quick. So,
What's
like I
your
watched
favorite movie that a wrestler is in?
that a wrestler is in. Oh, hmm, like a wrestling movie or
Nah, I mean, oh, I guess it could be, or just like any. I
I
mean,
like the I
any.
like the wrestler with Mickey Rourke a lot, and that's a
Yeah,
wrestling
that's a great,
movie.
great film. Yeah.
But I'm a big fan of Mickey Rourke as well. Um,
Did you watch Heels? He got canceled after 2 seasons. Had the dude
I
from
didn't.
Vikings.
I heard good things though, and that
Yeah, it was
was that
pretty good.
Showtime, Showtime or Stars,
Stars or Showtime, yeah.
one of those.
I was kind of sad it got canceled, but you
Yeah,
know,
I
I
heard
think
good things, but I never saw it.
if
I'll
it
have
had
to.
premiered now, it might make because wrestling's kind of hot again. Have you noticed? Like
It is,
it's
yeah. It's
hot again,
mainstream
right?
again, for
Yeah.
sure.
So I think if they had done it now, and they didn't do very good marketing for it, but it was a solid show, very low budget, you know. But if you're a
Yeah.
wrestling fan and wanted a wrestling drama, scripted drama, you know, it's worth a watch.
Well, you're breaking news to some people. They didn't know the Heels is
Oh
canceled.
yeah, yeah. Hills got canceled, guys. Sorry to tell you.
That sucks. Yeah, I'll have to check it out. I heard one of my good friends actually was telling me about Heels not that long ago either. So, was it recently canceled or is this old news? We're just behind.
I read it like 4 or 5 months ago. Oh, they live. Whoever
Okay.
said they live, yeah, that was a great film. I wish they would do a remake of that. I think that's a perfect movie to do a remake for.
And I
But
saw people talking about Fallout. Were you
I
a player of
tried to.
that
It just
game?
came out, and actually, Amazon dropped the entire season, which I was surprised because usually Netflix is the only streaming service that does that. But I watched like the first 2 episodes. I'm struggling to really get into it. I like The Last of Us. The Last of Us was great. I think it's overrated. Like I think that thing has like an 8.7 on IMDb or something ridiculously high.
Oh, really?
It's a great show, but I don't think it's that great.
Yeah, yeah.
And I love zombie. Zombie is like my genre. I love anything with
Really?
zombies. But
Nice.
and obviously Pedro Pascal, phenomenal actor. But I don't know, the hype on that one. I think is a little much.
And who's in this Fallout show? Because I was looking up. Walton Goggins. I like him. He's in a lot of stuff now. He was in Justified. I remember that.
What I guess we could do other like IMD. So like the first video game movie I ever remember seeing was Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, for sure.
And
Same.
I think a lot of people forget that Mortal Kombat had kind of started introducing a lot of the special effects that Matrix got all the credit for, with the exception of the bullet time.
Yeah.
but Mortal Kombat had like groundbreaking special effects in it at the time.
Right.
And
At the time. Now looking back, it's like it's a totally different for anybody
do,
like into stuff today. I think they look back and it's cringy, but at the time for sure,
do you
it was
remember that they released a stand-up arcade game that was Street Fighter 2, but Guile was actually Jean-Claude Van Damme?
yes, yes.
Yeah,
And they
so
just did
that's one of the cabinets I wanna find, and actually, it's
okay.
not that easy to find, yeah. I wanna
Yeah,
get some
that's
version of Street Fighter 2 for my house because obviously it's Street Fighter 2,
yeah,
but that's the one. Because I mean,
classic
there's
game.
so many different ones you can get, but, the movie sucked, but, you know, the game is phenomenal.
Oh yeah, timeless for sure.
Who said
All
with Fred Savage?
yeah, what was with Fred Savage? I had to go up to
Twisted Metal, I tried to watch that too, and I played it on PS1. Again, just I don't
that's a
know,
game
couldn't
I
get
haven't
into
played in
it.
a long time.
When you
Yeah.
get older, you just start like really liking period piece dramas and shit. Like the kind of shit I get into now is like I like my
Yeah.
favorite shows right now are I think I'm rewatching Yellowstone for like the fourth time.
Mhm.
Ray Donovan,
Ray Donovan's good. I love Ray Donovan.
Gangs
I
of
didn't see the
London.
movie though. Did you see the Ray Donovan movie?
Yeah, it's basically the ending. So it's
Yeah,
just a
I didn't
2 hour
see that
ending.
yet. I didn't
It's
see
all
that.
right. I mean, the ending wasn't terrible. It wasn't Game of Thrones bad, but it was all right.
Yeah.
And all the anything Taylor Sheridan does, I'm a fan. Tulsa King,
Tulsa
uh,
King's good.
Mayor of Kingstown's really good. Yellowstone's great. 1883 is great. 1923 is great. And they've got that new one coming out with Billy Bob and Demi Moore that's called Landman. I'm excited about that one.
Mhm.
Um, Really, wrestling wise, there's not, and I don't know about video game shows that aren't out. I mean, I know they're working on Ready Player 2, which I'm very excited about that.
I think that's an underrated movie. I love Ready Player
Oh,
One.
it's
I thought
great.
it
And
was so good.
every
It's
time you
one
watch it, you see a new video
yeah,
game Easter egg you didn't catch.
yeah. The whole
So
movie's Easter eggs, and I'm a huge fan of The Shining too. So to have such a so many Easter eggs for that in there too is pretty cool. But I do want to mention we have the giveaway going off in a minute and a half. So the pinned comment at the top, click that,
what
enter
are
to
you
win.
giving away?
So I was it 2 3 days ago I did a video showing people how they can convert an older PC that actually Amazon has for like $128 into a retro game console. So it's like a step-by-step tutorial video that shows people how they can go about doing that. So the demo PC that I use in that I'm giving away tonight. So
Oh, cool. That's a good
yeah.
prize.
Yeah, yeah. And then tomorrow I'm giving away like a $800 mini PC. So yeah, I try to anytime now. A couple brands will send me stuff when new products come out, so I don't need all these mini PCs that I get sent. I'm like the mini PC review guy now, so I
Oh,
get
okay.
stuff. So I just don't need them all. So I do review videos, and then in these live streams, I like to give stuff away. So, um, you know, in those cases, they're sent to me for free, so I just pass it on to the viewers. So yeah,
Let's say, guys in the audience, list the worst video game adaptation movies. I'm gonna throw out Doom as like a big disappointment.
yeah, and okay, so that's a movie that has a wrestler in it too.
Yeah,
So yeah, that was
I
that
think
was like the Rock's tough
Dwayne
period, I
Johnson
think.
is more of a movie star to me now than a wrestler. I mean,
Oh
I
yeah,
don't know,
definitely.
like,
Well, I
but
think people forget that he only wrestled for what, like 6 years for
yeah.
being,
Same with
such a
Stone Cold
pivotal
was only on top for like 3 years. I mean, his career
yeah,
was relatively brief,
98 to 01, 02 if you're I mean, 03 if you're
counting
really
when he
stretching
was
it, but
like the man. Yeah, like I mean, he
right, right.
wrestled for a long time, but he
Yeah.
was supposed to be at WrestleMania, like, and there
Yeah,
was
and the
an
Undertaker
argument.
spot, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
there was an argument over, I guess, how much he was going to get paid. So,
It would have made more sense, honestly, because of the feud that he had, built up over the year. What did they do? 3 WrestleManias, him and Rock? So
and
I
they
think that would have
foreshadowed it when they panned out when The Rock beat up Cody backstage or outside. The truck had Cena and Stone Cold, and it felt deliberate that the camera
yeah,
panned to it. Kind of like a whatever you
right.
call it, foreshadowing or
Yeah.
whatever. But
Undertaker worked though because anybody that's like big into wrestling knows that Undertaker was like the locker room guy back then
yeah, but
too. So
you
it
know what
worked,
killed it
but
for me? I just wish that he would have at least been like in his gear, like. he was wearing his podcast hoodie, and like, I mean, you know, I get it, but like,
Yeah,
if he would just thrown on the trench coat and his hat, I'd have been happy.
that's
But
true. He would have gotten a bigger pop from the audience too when the bell hit too. But yeah,
Pixels was horrible. Yeah, Nexus, I agree. Pixels was horrible. E.T. the
yeah,
video
Pixels was
game was the
bad.
worst. There's a really good documentary about all
Yeah,
those buried E.T. games. I can't remember what it's called. I think it's on
yeah.
Hulu.
Game
Uh,
over. Yeah, yep.
and another really good one on Hulu about Tetris. The fucking what a clusterfuck that was, from the Russian designer to them licensing it, and it sounds boring, but it was actually really interesting.
Yeah. They're checking on Vito how he's behaving in here because sometimes he goes off the rails a little bit in the comments. Not
Who
too
is
bad though.
Vito?
Not too bad.
Who is
Vito
Vito?
is one of the guys behind Perfect Storm Gaming, and they're a pretty cool channel as well, worth checking out. Just kind of getting started with their live streams and stuff, but really good
George,
guys.
did you say Rocky with Hulk Hogan sucked? Come on now, man. Rocky,
That's not true. That's
yeah,
not true.
Rocky was great. And Street Fighter sucked. Yeah, I agree with that.
No,
Um,
I think even the later, like the Rockies we don't talk about, were still relevant. They were still good movies.
oh
They just
yeah.
weren't as good as the first ones. But I kind of fell off with the Creed movies. They just
I
I don't
watch
know
them, but you know what? I can't tell you anything about them, and I've seen them, but they're just not memorable.
for sure. Yeah, it's that same sort of feel for me. And now I don't know. I'm big on Stallone, but the
You seen
expendable
Tulsa
stuff
King?
kind of got old. Tulsa King's good. Yeah, when I was coming back, I
Yeah.
talked to you about going to Dallas before we started, and on the way back from Dallas, I binge watched Tulsa King, and
Oh my
I went
god,
through all of
I
them. It's
loved
so
it,
good.
man. Yeah, and they're filming season 2 right now. Very curious to see what they end up doing with the finale of Yellowstone, if Costner will make an appearance or not. But I'm really excited about Costner's new 4-part Western movies that he's working on. I'm a huge Kevin Costner fan, which is kind of weird for a dude, but he's like my guilty pleasure dude.
He's good though. He's got some amazing films. Trying to think what my favorite. I like Mr. Brooks a lot. Have you seen Mr. Brooks with him
Yeah,
and
I've seen every Costner
what
film. There was that was supposed to be a trilogy, and I don't know
was it?
why, but it was supposed to be a trilogy. Yeah.
I liked it
Uh,
because it was different. Like he's done a lot of movies that feel like Western movies. He's done so many.
yeah.
He's done a lot
Well,
of
you
baseball
know,
movies.
I feel like he's gonna be the next Clint Eastwood. Like Clint Eastwood's in his
Yeah.
90s, and
Hmm.
Costner, he's like gonna be the new Western dude. I mean, he directs, he acts, he's made some great films,
For
and I
sure.
don't think we're gonna get many more out of Clint. Like he's old, man. So
What I mean, yeah, he's got to be,
I
I
think he's
don't know,
like
90,
92 or
90
something. Like,
something.
yeah, he's
Yeah.
fucking old. And
What was
the
his
other
last? Did he do Richard
Cry
Jewell?
Macho
Did
was
he
the last
do?
one,
Oh, okay.
and it
Who
sucked.
did? Yeah, I don't remember that one, but I remember having seen it, so it must not have been a an epic film then.
I just
But
watched No Way Out a couple weeks ago, so yeah, I've seen that one. Waterworld, I liked Waterworld. It was a bomb, yeah, but I don't
Waterworld
hate it.
was good. And then The Postman too.
Yeah, The Postman was another one
That was
nobody
around
else.
that same. That
Yeah.
was Field of Dreams is another classic for me. That's probably that and Dances with
R.I.P.
Wolves.
Ray Liotta, man.
Ray Liotta. Oh, that's right. If you build it, they will come. There we go.
Yeah,
All right, so I
man.
got the winner for the giveaway here. I was doing that while we were chatting, and the winner is Joshua May, who is a regular on here as well. So, Joshua May, you are the winner of the Dell Optiplex 7050 that I've kind of modded out and turned into a retro game console. So, congratulations there. There we go. Nummy likes Waterworld. Cool movie. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that he's done that isn't like a typical, like we've seen so many things recycled now with movies that um, I look for stuff that's original. And that's another thing that I loved about Ready Player One. There's nothing else out there like it. There's some similarities, I suppose, with some other stuff that Spielberg's done, but nothing that's like totally lined up with that.
I agree. Yeah. And obviously that's like the day that we're waiting on is when VR gets to that's like when me and my friends are talking about VR games and stuff, we refer to Ready Player One as almost like a future time when like we're always like, is it Ready Player One? Like we use it almost as like I'm
Yeah.
not good with English if that's a verb
No,
or
I totally. And you talked about crypto, and I feel like the whole crypto world reminds me of kind of that as well. And when did you get into crypto? Because we touched on crypto before, but I was really big into crypto for a long time, and
so. You
I
remember when
kind of
the
got out.
pandemic hit and everybody was watching Tiger King?
Yeah.
So I had invested some money in crypto like 6 months before that. I put like 15 grand in, and within like 2 weeks, it dropped to like 7 grand. And I didn't know what I was doing. So I panic sold and I said, fuck crypto. Um, when the pandemic
When it
hit,
flash crashed, when the pandemic hit,
well,
and like, yeah.
we went from like a no, it was like before that. We went from
Okay.
just a bull to a bear market. I just happened to
Yeah.
buy in like at the wrong time. But
Yeah.
so I spent like 6 months when COVID was first happening and shit, just like all day, every day, reading, writing, watching shit about crypto. And I refinanced my house and I paid some shit up and I had $50,000 to my name in cash. And I decided I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna go all in. And within 6 months, I had turned that 50 into like 450, and that's the most money I've ever made in my life. So at that point, I got really serious about it. And now at this point, like I'm pretty much a day trader, but I teach classes, like I do private coaching on crypto, and a lot of people are just like, "Fuck it, it's a scam." They don't want to fuck with it, but I always tell people whether you want to invest in it or not. I mean, they're even saying the new Grand Theft Auto is going to have some form of Bitcoin in it.
Yeah.
So NFTs are the future of gaming. Like I mean, a lot of games are gonna move to NFT weapons and skins and
Yeah.
stuff like
For
that.
sure.
You're gonna own your land. You're gonna own your apartment or whatever. Like so, it's at
Absolutely.
least good to get familiar with it, even if it doesn't interest you in owning it to try to like invest or whatever. But
For sure.
that's what got
Now,
me into it.
I hear you. Yeah, so I got into it. Sounds like around the same time. It was end of 2019. So I got into it when I think Ethereum was, I want to say like 175, and then it flash crashed in one day. I think right when they announced the pandemic to like $75, and I went kind of crazy and bought a bunch of it. So I made about $350,000 at one point,
Yeah, it's
but
at like
you know,
$3,200 today. So
yeah.
I
Yeah,
had to
but
buy
I'm out of
some.
it now. So I did sell went before it, went down this last time, but
Well, you're
um
part of they say like the statistics are like 20 to 30% of people that invest in crypto actually make a profit. So
yeah.
you
Well, you
did
never
well.
know. Hindsight's 2020, but you never know when it's going to crash, when it's going to go up. So, but that's the same with the stock market. I mean, everything is like that. Now, I've seen a lot of people saying basically fuck NFTs. What do you think about, and well, I made that
I
worse.
love it. I mean, think about it like this: Black Ops 4, Call of Duty, for example. I think I spent $3,000 over the course of 2 years buying COD points to buy the new weapon skin packs and all that shit. And like the
Yeah.
game's over, and like that shit stays with the game.
Exactly. And I think that's
So
the best way to look at NFTs, because so many people are looking at like NFTs like what's the board ape stuff where
yeah,
like
pictures of
post
monkeys and shit, but like no,
right.
it's a
No.
digital asset, right? Like
Right.
so you can buy movies, CDs, art, but I always tell people because NFTs are very confusing to people that like you have an iPhone, right? You buy a song on iTunes for $1, but like let's say you want to sell that song to your friend because you're trying to listen to it, you can't. So you don't
Right.
actually own it, right? Like you're just
Right.
leasing it for the life of the
Exactly.
phone or the account. So an
Yeah.
NFT creates an ID number that basically makes it yours so that you can
Right.
sell it, you can transfer it to somebody else. So I don't understand why people are so against NFTs in gaming. I mean,
In
if I'm
gaming it
buying
makes
something,
sense. Yeah. I think it's just the idea of like we're seeing Post Malone or Steph Curry buying, pictures of monkeys for, $3 million. And it doesn't make sense to people. It seems stupid. And we've seen that, the value's not there and stuff like that. But there's a way to use it with gaming where it makes sense. Like I'm a Fortnite player. I have all these skins on my account that are in some cases really rare skins, but they're rare and I can do nothing with them. They're attached to my account. I can't, you can gift stuff when you first buy it. After that, once it's attached to your account, it's yours forever. You can't,
yeah,
distribute that. So I think that's a great way of looking at it. What you just said with, your Call of Duty. example.
So
I
like
think.
World of Warcraft and Counter-Strike even, they have online marketplaces that you can, I mean, there's some really expensive like knives on Counter-Strike are like 10 grand. But this takes it out of that. So like you're not having to sell it just on inside the game specifically. You can take it out and put it on any marketplace you want.
Sure.
And I'm all for it. I mean, like, I think that I own a lot of land and properties. People would die. I mean, I bought an apartment that's a virtual apartment for $30,000. That I'm sitting on. So, like imagine, let's say everybody plays Grand Theft Auto. So, like in the latest one, when you finally get your nice house or whatever. Well, everybody's got that house. When you get to that point of the game, like you got it. So the way it's working with that is like you're gonna own your apartment. It's gonna be a certain number, and like
Hmm.
no one else is gonna have that exact same apartment. So you can, decorate it, do whatever you want, and then the idea is that there's only a limited supply of those
Right.
inside of each game. So then, you have the chance of it going up in value if like the game is really hot and like people want stuff that there's a game called what is the name of that game? You can actually make decent money playing this game if you know what you're doing. Shit. I mean, it's
Alluvium.
Alluvium hasn't launched yet. I don't think. Actually,
Yeah,
I'm
it's still
invested.
beta.
Yeah, I'm invested in Illuvium. But this one has
Yeah,
been
me
out
too.
as a Pokemon ripoff, and
Yeah.
um, I don't remember the
Oh,
name of
I
it.
know what you're talking about. I'm blanking on that. It's a weird name.
Yeah, they
I
were
know what
saying
you're
like
talking about
it's the
though.
Philippines of all places were like making a ton of money playing this game, but
Yeah.
it's called Axie Infinity.
Very
Axie
good.
Infinity is actually out, but the problem with crypto and NFT gaming is that this is the year that a bunch of AAA titles are supposed to release. So actually 50% of my portfolio was in crypto gaming.
Wow.
And a lot of studios that are just manufacturing stuff. So I think you're going to see it implemented sooner rather than later, whether
I
you
think it's
want to or not.
early. Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Quarter
Um,
three, quarter four, a lot of crypto games are coming out.
And Alluvium's one that I've been following for a while, and I have
Yeah.
land in that one too, actually. And it's interesting because there's three different. I believe there's three different parts to the gaming side of things there, but there's a lot going on. It's almost too much sometimes for the fact that it's not really out there. I know beta's out there, but it is a lot for people that are just kind of trying to understand it to absorb. I think because
Yeah,
I've
no,
been
it is. Like
yeah
I do a 2.5 hour introductory class where like I take 10 to 20 people in a Zoom and just do an introductory class on just NFTs. And
hmm
like just people like my NFT wallet got hacked like a year and a half ago, and it was my fault. It wasn't like a neo hacker. Like I clicked on a
yeah
bad link, and I
hmm
called the FBI to report because it was like $150,000 worth of NFTs. And the
wow
lady that answered the FBI phone when I was like, I need to talk to somebody about some stuff. She was like, "What's an NFT?" The lady at the FBI didn't even know
wow
what it was. So
wow
I think people don't understand what it's really doing, and then
hmm
they just think they don't like it. Like, but I mean,
yeah
anybody that's a gamer that if you spend your money in the game, why would you not want to own that?
yeah
That's really the
yeah.
only difference. So
Yeah, I think that the best use case right now, anyways, is gaming. But blockchain technology is, I mean, is really what everything is based on. And the blockchain technology is phenomenal. Like what you could do with it is a lot of good for a lot of different, you know, different things. So yeah, I think that I don't know. I think it's very early, and a lot of people, unfortunately, there's a lot of pushback because of the stuff that's in the media about this stuff and the hacks
yeah,
too. Which I will say, somebody tried to hack my YouTube channel last week, but the majority of the crypto hacks are mistakes on the user's
yeah,
part. So
yeah.
I have seen a lot of people run into issues there, and it's very easy to do
And
that.
yeah, and I
So
made that mistake, and I teach
yeah,
classes, and I made that mistake. So
right, right.
I had
It's
two
easy to
bad things
do.
happen to me. So like I had a lot of money stored in Celsius.
Hmm.
And Celsius went insolvent.
Yeah,
I was actually in New
yeah,
York filming TV, and they take our phones when we're filming the big events so that we can't, like, I guess, leak anything.
Sure.
So I didn't have my phone for 2 days, and when they gave it to me back, I had to catch, like, a super late flight, and I was tired, I was sleeping on the plane. When I finally landed in Charlotte, I, like, got on, and it was too late to pull your money out, so that was a six-figure loss as well.
Wow.
And it would be equivalent to, like, you walking to Wells Fargo or Bank of America, and, like, the doors are locked, and they're just like, "Hey, we don't have your money." So,
Yeah.
it was $12.5 billion of people's money that they
Yeah.
lost, so
That was a massive one. Yeah,
yeah.
so I mean, it definitely sours you, but it's so early on with that stuff that they are figuring out, the issues and stuff. And it's funny, I've been out of crypto for about 2 years, and I just recently, started looking into it more, and I've been a little bit more involved with stocks lately, just because it's changed so much in the last 2 years from when I was, last doing it. I mean, when I was buying crypto, it was mainly Coinbase, was how you were buying it, mainstream, anyways. And now there's so many different markets. There's just a lot more available. So
I've never had good luck with stocks, man. I've played
no,
with them. I just always like I tried getting into that whole GameStop deal. I was too late. Um, but crypto, I've done well. In fact, I mean, I've been an entrepreneur since I was like 18, 17. I mean, I've had retail front businesses, I've had online businesses, and I've made more money from crypto than every business I've ever had put together. So, but it's
that's
not for everybody, and you can lose your fucking ass. Like, I mean, a lot of people
absolutely,
do. So, do
yeah,
your research, and if you want to invest. But I tell like my friends that don't have a lot of money, Cash App now has you can buy Bitcoin in Cash App, and you can set
yep,
it up for auto buy. So I
mm-hmm,
tell them, I'm like, put $50 a month into Bitcoin. You're not gonna miss it. It's like a couple
yeah,
combos from McDonald's,
yeah,
and in 10 years you'll probably have enough to retire. I mean,
yeah. Set it and
uh,
forget it type of thing.
yeah,
And
just
shout out
like
to Retro Ralph there, who is like me, a closet 90 Day
what's
fan.
up,
So
Ralph? Thank you, brother.
And I was talking, we were actually talking about you, Ralph, earlier. I was talking about cameras, and I just got a new camera, and in the live, it's not great, but just because we're live on YouTube, but I think it'll, be a better picture later on. But I finally have kind of dialed into cameras and lighting and stuff like that. And I was talking with Tim about how you're so on point with your setup. So shout out to Retro Ralph. Amazing content over there. Definitely check him out, Tim, because
I will, yeah, for sure.
he does, and Tim's actually looking for some very specific arcade cabinets too. Retro Ralph does a lot of stuff with original cabinets, whereas I'm more emulation based. Like my cabinets are all modded and they're running off of mini PCs and ROMs and all
He's
that.
not the
He's
guy.
got the
I watched a video the other day. I can't remember the channel where they did a custom. God, what was the game? It may have been a new Street Fighter, like, but it was with a huge screen. Was that him
not
that
sure.
made this? He made
I'm not
custom
sure.
cabinets.
He doesn't do custom cabinets. He does more, like he was just at a convention going through Sega's new cabinets that they're putting out, and like all these new stuff that's coming out. But his stuff is like mostly original cabinets, like stuff that we grew up playing. So
Well,
that's
if you
why
run across a Street Fighter 2 with Jean-Claude Van Damme, let me know, because that's the one that I'm looking for.
there we go. Yeah, definitely check him out, and I'll give you a link to his stuff later too. But yeah, really a good dude over there, and he was one of my early guests on here, and I'll definitely have him back too because we were kind of like we're doing here. We, I planned for like an hour, and we just get caught up in conversation and all that. So, yeah, definitely cool dude though, Retro Ralph. So, all right, well, I don't
Someone
want
asked,
to take up too much of your time, but
yeah, I'm
yeah,
good for whatever, bro.
all right,
Somebody asked who won the contest.
it was, and I still have it up on my Joshua May. So I think I put that in the and actually I'll there we go, Joshua May, and I will pin it. There we go. There's Retro Ralph. Street Fighter, the movie, fun game. I've never owned one, but it's a cool game.
All right, well, guys, if you
Yeah, for
didn't
sure.
subscribe to my channel, I would wish and thank you if you do. It's
Did
gonna
we get
be a.
past the 20,000?
Let me check. Uh, yeah, we did
Sweet,
20,025. So check
sweet.
this out. Go to my last video, which is the Buff Bagwell interview, and post in the comments. Just say contest, and I'll go through there and pick somebody in the next day or so. And I'll respond to you how you can get in contact with me.
Sweet.
So it'll make things easier. So just go comment contest on the Buff Bagwell interview. And if you want to watch it, even if you leave it playing in the background, I could use those watched hours because I still got to qualify for the freaking Google ads.
There you
Um,
go.
10
It's a good
million
one.
short views, bro. I thought I was gonna hit it from shorts. You gotta have 4,000 public watch hours every 3 months, I
really?
think.
Yep.
Yeah, so I'm like at 6 million short views, so I need 4 million of those, but I'm closer with the regular watch hours. But thanks for having me, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate you
And
taking the time, and yeah, we definitely went. I was hoping for 45 minutes with you. I didn't want to take up too much time, but thank you so much. It
how
was
long has it been? I mean, kept
an
track of time.
hour 34. So yeah, I really appreciate it because usually I don't want to take up too much time of anybody, especially you. I know you've been filming and all that too.
Nah,
So
bro, I'm about to game. This is my
there you
night to
go.
just like do nothing. So I'm gonna get
That's
on.
good.
If any of you guys have Oculuses, my name is Tim Malcolm on everything. So hit
Sweet.
me up on there. I play a lot of Demio. If any of you guys know what that is.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm not up on all the VR stuff, but yeah, there's a lot of stuff coming out that I'm really excited about. So I got to get on it myself. But yeah,
What
so
kind of
he
content?
does.
It's gonna be gaming, wrestling, interviews. I'll be doing a lot of live stream gaming of just like playthrough. I do games too with the fans, so like we do Jackbox games, or I've got another game that's like trivia that you guys can play from your phone. I mean, we do a variety of shit. What I don't do typically is talk about 90 Day Fiance. So like, I
Well,
don't
good.
I
We're
don't
good.
even watch the shows I'm on. So and it's just like it keeps me out of trouble. So I can answer like questions here or there, but I'm not gonna do 90 Day Fiance streams or videos tailored around that. But
Good.
and then
Good.
check out my Instagram as well. It's Tim Malcolm El Gringo Charlotte, which is my old gamer tag. But
Sweet.
that's where you guys can check me out. So again, appreciate all of you. Appreciate the guys that came and subscribed, man. That's great. Hitting 20,000 is a landmark for me. So it's the highest my YouTube has ever been. I've had like 78 channels. So
Wow. Well, we started exchanging emails like I want to say like almost 2 months ago, and you had I think like 15,000. So I mean that's pretty good growth in a short period of time. So
2 months ago it was lower than that because in the
okay.
last 28 days is 5,000.
Oh, okay. Wow.
So yeah,
Wow.
yeah, it's gone up really, really fast the last 2 months. Like I think I
That's
was at like
awesome.
11 or 10, so it's gone up almost
Okay.
10,000 in 2 months. So
Sweet.
yeah,
Well,
guys,
that's
and
that's
and
that's
that's
good.
motivated me to make more content. So and I'm about to do another video with Steve as well. So if you don't follow Hecken Steve, I
Yeah.
know me and him are about to do something. So
That'll be good. Yeah, I always
thank
I
you
always
much,
love his content. So, all right, guys. Well, I'm gonna let you all go. Thank you guys so much for joining us. I will be back tomorrow night with a live stream at 8 p.m. there too with Wrestling with Gaming. So definitely check him out. But thank you guys so much for joining. I'll let you guys go, and I'll see you guys tomorrow night. Thanks
thank you
again,
guys.
guys.
All right, Chase, have a good one, man.
You too.